Hello everyone, it's time for another Highlander session, Easter Magic special. I'll be basically continuing what I streamed last time in Highlander, which was testing of Affinity, so Angry Robots, Artifact Aggro Highlander, and some Sultai variants, and we'll start with Affinity Highlander against Kopflurich, aka Ben, who volunteered to be the opponent for today and who will also be recording these matches. So after this you will be able to see the matches again on my videos on demand on his YouTube channel and maybe also on my YouTube channel. So there will be plenty of fresh perspectives on this game. So first game, we lost the die roll and waiting for Kopflurich to decide what to do. Ooh, we have a nifty Mishra's Workshop in the opening hand. Can slam 3 artifacts. Even then use Springleaf Drum to equip Bone Splitter to Volt Scourge, which sounds pretty nice. I mean, it's just one tiny creature, but I think overall this is a great hand. As long as we get one creature to live long enough. Oh, we can even use the... no, please no discard. Come on. Ah, that's... oh, that's actually discard. That's actually fine. So Workshop survived and one creature survived. What's this again? Okay, Kopflurich is playing also interesting stuff again, apparently. So, Workshop survived, Creature survived, Springleaf Drum survived, so this could have easily gone wrong. So I could produce even red mana turn 1 to play the Synthesizer. Problem is, then we won't be able to cast the spell off the Synthesizer, because then we'll be run out of mana and relying on hitting a 0 mana artifact, which would be kind of not so great because it's not likely to happen. So let's just... oh, wait, this creature is even better. So, easy going, easy board filling turn 1. Problem is, it's only 1/1 creatures that fill the board, but it's also still the drum and the bone splitter really make this interesting. Problem is, I have absolutely no clue what I'm playing against. Maybe this will... interesting. At the moment I don't have a really pretty target for that, and so in the last session I had a Darksteel Citadel giving me an indestructible beater very early. That was kind of nice. In this case I'll probably just play the Glimmer Void and the Synthesizer to see what's happening when I hit... of course when I then hit a land and it's bad luck. I could also tap away one of my creatures so that I don't miss the potential land drop, which is maybe more interesting. I think we'll do that. See what happens. Then we still also have the Glimmer Void to potentially activate stuff. Oh, Ravager. Hello. So... just from the amount and names of cards, this looks totally nuts, actually. I still don't really think that Ensoul is the right play here. I think Mishra's Factory is good to have online next turn. Tap her to equip the Ginger Man. And do some swingy. Now maybe I should not do the F6, because there is an Arcbound Ravager, and that ability might need to be activated. Especially when the opponent is fetching. There might be some bolting happening. Stomping ground. Okay, tapped duel suggests nothing happening. Okay. I think last time when I played him, I played against a kind of impressive living death variant. Living end, pardon. So cycling, cascading, living ending. With an impressive ricochet trap stunt to counter my counter attempts. But this doesn't look like living end so far. I mean, it does look a bit like, I don't know, Hogak or Voidwalker. Is that the name of the... or Madness even? Madness, it might be Madness actually. Which would earn a lot of sympathy from my side, because Madness was the first deck I ever played in a Legacy tournament. Like, I don't know, 15 years ago. So he played one of these actual Madness cards. When deals command damage to player, then he gets the red variant of card drawing. This here, basically. So there is an artifact land. I think I want to throw Synthesizer into the Arcbound Ravager and see what happens, and then consider further plays. Dispatch. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, this... when he cannot answer my threats, then this start was kind of nasty. So this was... let's call it a Hearthstone game of Magic. I mean... yeah, hello Rankstrail. Nice to have you here. Yeah, it was... this was intense die rolling, actually. I mean, this game could basically have been over when his Burning Inquiry had disrupted my hand, but actually it didn't, but made my hand better, so that might be an interesting thing also for Benny to recap later, to see the perspective what the Burning Inquiry actually did to my hand or what it did not do to my hand. This is a very floody hand. The Beaumont Courier could mitigate this. The Flooded Strand can... do I run red duels that I can fetch with Flooded Strand? I don't know. I'm not sure that this can work actually. This hand is a solid basis, but it also might lead into nothing, so basically every land that I draw on top of this is just jank. I think I go for a mulligan here. There is my boy, the Patchwork Automaton, which I like a lot, but unfortunately this is only one land, which exactly casts Jack-o'-lantern in this hand. That is kind of unfortunate. I mean, I cannot rely on a beneficial Burning Inquiry again. This cantrips, no, it's too bad. I cannot do that. Now this, I would be allowed to keep 5 of these. There are 3 lands and Mox Opal, and 3 artifacts in total. I will have to keep this because on 4 this is not getting better. Question is who has to go. I think the Mox Opal doesn't get me anywhere in this hand, and if I lose one of my artifacts it doesn't do anything anymore. so I rather put it away. Glimmer Void is also a bit fragile, but I think I want to rather keep it. I think on this hand I don't have the luxury to keep Wasteland, because I try to be proactive here and not disrupting his mana base with my one Wasteland. So trying to slam these creatures, find a third mana, keep this. Or is this bullshit? Maybe I should keep Wasteland and not Tempered Steel. This was not what I wanted to click. So, assuming I would keep this... How does this look? Still pretty crappy. But I think every Mulligan on 5 looks pretty crappy with this deck, so let's just do this. So I would have loved to have the Anthem effect instead of the Wasteland, but the Anthem effect, which costs 3, which is not castable when I mulligan away my mana sources, it's kind of nasty. Grim Lava Boy, that's a nice one. That's also a nice one. I'll go, I mean, this is why I kept the Wasteland, so disrupting this, casting a target, which is very welcome to Lavamancer, which he will as soon as he sees the GT. Which we will have to see if he does. Smash for 1. Play another beta for 1. Be happy. So there will be a dead Hex Parasite by the end of the turn. So the disruption that sometimes works with Wasteland killing one land has not worked in this case. There is apparently enough stable mana, but maybe not enough red mana. We'll have to see. Wow, who are you? Haven't seen you in a while. 2/2 haste. Lord for Satires. When you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. Oh, that's actually a nice addition. So, I think in this scenario, GT wins the game if unanswered. Unfortunately, it takes 2 turns to establish, which poses the question if we want to play Scrappy Scrounger instead. But I think playing GT will maybe force him to keep resources open to deal with a threatening Memnite, so this would then diminish the value of his party satire, party goat. Can you play a creature with haste that kills my Memnite? Oh, with a Bloom command, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, okay, I think this is over then. This is precisely the reason why one has to play with a Bloom command in this format. Killing GT and the boy that can carry it. It's just very, very nasty. And this is the most neck-breaking 2-for-1. So if I wasn't on Mulligan 5, I might have tried to recover in this game, but I don't see much added value in trying this in this setup. So let's go for a third game. This looks keepable. We can make a land Springleaf Drum on round 1. If we do this with a Springleaf Drum Tundra, we might find a scenario where we can play Baleful Strix turn 2. Is that true? Not really. I mean, it would be true if we found a 0-mana creature. But I can play Strix or Ravager, so it's probably fine to play Tundra and not Mishra's Factory. Because I think when I manage to draw a 0-mana creature from the top, it's well, very unlikely. But if I did, then I would probably regret when I play not Tundra turn 1, so let's go for that. Oh, opponent went down to 5 as I did last game. That's a bit disappointing, but we'll maybe have a game nonetheless. Ignoble Hierarchies. Oh, hello Uncle Grave, by the way. Nice to see you here. Happy Easter to you. Ah, this is a scenario, another scenario that enables us to play Baleful Strix, by the way. And I think then I want to do this sweet little Cantropy thing instead of playing the Ravager that doesn't have that much food at the moment. And also playing Relic of Progenitors, being happy in general. Ooh, there will be a tap activation of my Relic pretty soonishly. So, what do we expect here? Madness Lightning Bolt. Fiery Temper. 2 Root Wallers. Ooh. Okay, he has got the Floody Mulligan, actually. This would be 5 mana for Delve spells, which is not enough for any Delve thing. This is unfortunately the end of the Baleful Strix as we know it. Let's eat some value off his grave. So, what can we do? We can play Arcbound Ravager, tap him for mana, play Ensoul on Relic and beat for 5. I think this is a line that I like. This and this and a very, very aggressive Relic of Progenitors. No, stop hitting F6. Not auto-passing when you have Arcbound Ravager. This is a old and golden rule for affinity players on Magic Online. Because it's not too unlikely that you will activate it in response. Vengevine! Nice! But... that worries me that he thinks he's in aggro mode. So either this is desperation, or he has something very insane left in his hand. I can back swing for 8, maybe even more when I've sacrificed this. I think I can do that, right? Maybe make this one bigger spread the value a little bit. So this is 10. Can I do 4 more? No, I can only do 2 more without sacrificing attacking creatures, which would not actually do the trick. Nice. So that was the first match of today. Hopefully there will be some more. So I scheduled with Kopflurch, my opponent, that we do several matches and shift through several decks. I don't know if he wants to change decks now or do the same again, but I'll be waiting for him to send me a challenge again. I would, as I don't have that many decks that I want to test, basically Affinity, Highlander and some Sultai variant, I will just stick to the same deck for the moment and to sort of get into the flow of playing it. We won the die roll, let's go. The amazing thing about this deck is every starting hand actually looks like you're playing something entirely different. But we have the good old Modern Horizons draft combo of Indestructible Land and Rise and Shine, which basically makes it a 4/4 indestructible creature. We have Stoneforge Mystic, we have the flexible Stonecoil Serpent, so in the Void, I don't know if I'll be playing against the same deck or something different, but I'll choose to keep this. Okay, this is not revealing. This could be the same or a different deck. So, what does it cost? 6. I don't think that I can reliably do that. I'll probably... go for Stoneforge Mystic here. I think that I can fetch Lion Sash as a nice target at this point. Of course, GT is also an option. What do we have? Nettlecyst is sort of the all-star in this deck, but usually when you have something like Ancient Tomb or Workshop, because at the moment I'm a bit clunky and cannot really afford paying 3. But the same argument would sort of be true for Lion Sash and GT. I think the Sash does most things for least mana on its own at the moment. Because it's like Nettlecyst, it's a threat in itself, and it's only 2 mana to get on the board, so I think I like that. I mean, of course, if Stoneforge survives, then Nettlecyst is also only 2 to put on the board, but one of the lessons learned over the years in Magic is that Stoneforge Mystics rarely survive till turn 2. Or to the next turn, turn 3 in this situation. INFECT! So Benny's never out of ideas, apparently. This can actually be very, very bad for me. Huh. Because 4/4 indestructible creature doesn't do much against the infect. So I think I have to play a rather defensive Stonecoil Serpent here and buy some time in order to not randomly get overrun by Cyst Bearer plus Pump Spell. So I'd rather let Stonecoil Serpent be overrun by Cyst Bearer plus Pump Spell. So he really tries to make niche archetypes work in Highlander. So niche in the sense of things that I would have never imagined to work in 100-card singleton decks. So as of now, I'm skeptical that there is a critical mass of infect creatures that are worthwhile. Rancor. Gosh. Still, I could trade with Stonecoil Serpent. And I would too. So, from general knowledge of INFECT from 10 year ago modern, or 7 year ago modern, I would expect a pump spell now. Yes, even a 0 mana pump spell. Nice. Also bad for me. This will be a problem, I think. More infect creatures. So I can play another artifact, for example, Tree of Tales. Could then play Mirror Enforcer for 4. It's still not too impressive against these infect boys with potential additional pump spells. Lion Sash. I only have 2 untapped white mana, so I can only make the 2/2, which doesn't do anything on the board. I could play Goldmire Bridge and Rise and Shine this turn, but this really doesn't help, having a 4/4 indestructible against infect. I can also not enter the race, as it seems, because I have 3 of 10 infect. His clock is much faster than mine. This is all very unfortunate. So I think I'll just go for another 4/4 critter, which is not very impressive overall. See if I can get a trade. I mean, I will trade against a pump spell, which does probably not help in the long run. I'm interesting to see how this match turns out. The okay, attacking only with that guy probably means that he doesn't have another pump spell. He'll probably recycle Rancor to put on the Icoclomia, which is a generally great thing to have. But I cannot do much against it, and I need to block here. What I wanted to say is I don't have that many removal in this list because it's very proactive, trying to force the own game plan. So this will be probably... Ooh. Okay. Probably be difficult. Also, that mother doesn't help much. I'm just dead. I trade very, very poorly against infect creatures. Let's see if I can do better when when I know what I'm facing. But I think even if I had known that I was playing against infect, I would not have made any different mulligan or play decision in this game, because I don't expect anything to improve when I mulligan this. For sad lack of removal options. There is a removal options. There is 3 lands, but there is also 2 colored spells which I cannot cast. Still, I'll be trying this. Not overly happy, but we'll see. So, done with the coffee to get rid of the spring fatigue. Ready to roll. So have to excuse me a second. Happy Easter is also happy hay fever. Stupid civilization disease. Lion Sash again. He did not do anything on turn 1, which leads to the assumption that we have a wasteland here. So mana efficiency would dictate to play Lion Sash at this point, which makes sense, I think. Also, it's white mana, so I cannot do Lion Sash Portable Hole on the same turn, so let's just slam this on the board. Oh, land is fine. Now we actually can play Baleful Strix. Yeah, let's do Bowmat Courier first. Swing all in. I'm not expecting any mass removal at this point of the game. Also, I'm not really from his archetype. This is not a very interesting game because he's been crippled by my wasteland apparently. Well, there is a second mana. Let's see. Necropede, oh, that's a great card against this board, if it wasn't for my Portable Hole. X-Parasite, wasn't this actually? A little bit against Infect. Let's just spam the board. This is a large amount of small creatures. So well, I'd be very afraid of Toxic Deluge or Dead of Winter in theory. I don't expect this of this deck of his, but Snow Swamp into Dead of Winter would be huge blowout. Okay, so well I can win on the back of Wasteland. Great. Assuming he had Necropede in his hand, that would have made a totally different game, because when he plays it turn 2, then there is a 1/1 Infect blocker that trades 2 for 1 against my army of small people. So if he had this in hand, then this would be an example of how Wasteland can shape a game. I'll be happy to see this on Kopfluris YouTube channel to see his perspective on this game. So what do we have here? We have Ancient Tomb, Inventor Sphere, no colored mana. We can play Stonecoil Serpent for 3 on turn 2. We can potentially have a Walking Ballista, which is not too bad against Infect. I think I'd try this. But yeah, there are many lanes to madness here. Many ways how this can be turned into utter bullshit. There is also a way how this can be turned into something great, actually. So then I start with a tapped indestructible white dual land, which is an artifact. And depending on his play, probably still Stonecoil Serpent as a 3/3 on turn 2. Are there good multicolored Infect creatures? If so, I would strongly recommend him to play one of these now, because Stonecoil Serpent happens to be protected from multicolored. That's not multicolored. Boo. Ah, Swords to Plowshares. Nice. So, a 3/3 Stonecoil Serpent would basically trade with the Echoclomere, which is not something I like. I like Ancient Tomb a lot in this matchup, by the way, because I don't have to bother too much about my life total, probably. So the other potential line here would be to play Inventor Sphere and Lion Sash just for white mana efficiency. That would give me several options, like a 3 mana for Stonecoil Serpent on the next turn, plus 1 mana white removal. And it would also open up space for having a 4/4 Stonecoil Serpent, which is better than a 3/3 that trades in the best case with the Echoclomere. Yeah. The Lion Sash doesn't do much on the current board state, but it has the option to do so in the future. So for example, if we drew another white mana source here, we could Swords the Echoclomere and exile the Rancor from the graveyard. +2/+2, is it right? Yeah, I cannot block this. This is not a white source. So I think I should do something about his creature. There is... So, I mean, I'm playing against a player who had Ricochet Trap in his Living End deck as a protection spell, so I would strongly expect for him to play any available green hexproof trick. So probably I'm doing some... No, not this. This one I want to do. Because then I have 2 shots against potential tricks. And if he doesn't have any trick... I was not expecting something to happen in response. Plus counters? No, that wouldn't be right. Okay. I don't know if that's the right lane to do this in response. I mean, sure, it does ensure that it survives until his next turn, but on his turn I can still ping that guy, and in response on a protection or pump spell still ping that guy. So if his line is correct... No, his line is correct if he has 2 pump spells that he can play on this turn. And, I mean, this is probably the spirit of the INFECT deck, having many pump spells, so I might actually be dead now, so I can take 6 more. If he has 2 pump spells, then I'm probably dead. So I cannot do this proactively. I have to wait what he does, so that I have 2 responses. If he just wants to deal 3 infect damage, this is fine, and I have next turn double ballista activation plus removal. But if I go first now, then he can play pump spell in response, I respond with ping, he plays another pump spell, and I'm probably dead. If he plays pump spell now, I ping in response, then this whole thing is reversed. And if he doesn't have a third free pump spell, then it would be kind of devastating for him, probably. Do I have... Yes. There's a drink here. So this whole thing would be totally unproblematic if it wasn't for the Rancor. So I probably have to do this now. Do I? I mean, if he plays the pump spells on my turn, this is probably better than if he plays them on his turn while he's attacking me, so... And I won't have the turn to charge the ballista because I need to play something else now. So, let's see. Ping here. What does he have to say in defense? Gather Courage, so that's not hexproof. That's good. That also doesn't really matter. It just worked, okay. Then I have the white mana to eat that Rancor. Okay, so there is one massive threat off the board. Then what do we do now? 3 mana left, we can play a Volt Scourge and 2-drop, for example. I think I just establish a Volt Scourge here and go for a swing. Generate a plating. It's all kind of fine. That guy again, but unfortunately for him I have exile removal again. You can probably hexproof that, but that's fine as well. Oh, he can't. That's even more fine. Ah, snap. I made a mistake here. I just wasted 1 damage. Because I do want to play an artifact anyway. So I should have done this before, to make 1 extra damage off the plating. Great, so again 2-1 after 0-1. Interesting matchup again. I'll be curious to see his deck list actually. Yeah, so we played two matches against interesting niche decks like INFECT and Madness, where I would have doubts if there is enough card pool actually to make a 100 card singleton deck in this archetype work. But I mean, he did represent a threat every time. So, and it's only a year or 2 ago where I would have thought the same about my deck, the Angry Robots. So it's only recent that we hit critical mass here. The difference is that Madness did get some new toys with recent expansions, but INFECT did not, I think. But I might be mistaken because I wasn't very interested in that archetype recently, so... But I also didn't see any new cards in that matchup. I think I will keep this. Go to cure my hay fever for a moment. So I don't think that I don't want to have you listen to me blowing my nose. That's not as spectacular. I would maybe reconsider this when I played Elephants, but I don't, I think. So we have 3 mana, white and black, 2 blue spells, which Kind of sucks. We have Wasteland, we have Tanglewire, so this is a solid basis of a hand, but it's not a good hand. We need a blue mana or a pilot for the Copter in order for this hand to be something. I think this is doable. Let's try this. It would be probably be equally fine to mulligan this, so this is a very, very narrow decision. There's a blue mana. He has a fetch land, so no waste landing. Just play Indestructible and be happy. Okay, blue mana, that means that we still play Copter on turn 2, probably. Maybe have Rise and Shine on the Indestructible land on turn 3. But turn 3 could also see Tanglewire or Master of Ethereum. So INFECT wouldn't run Scrubland, and Madness probably also not, so I expect that my opponent has switched decks again for this third encounter. So again, I'm totally at a loss what he might be playing. I don't want to play Tundra now because we need that next turn for blue spells. I think I'll go... I mean, he did play Scrubland and nothing. It could, given our land draws here, we could also Wasteland and do Treasure Vault Copter next turn. I think that's more... that's actually better. I don't know about his hand, but... I mean, in the worst case, this is just anti-time walk for me and for him. But in the best case, this does harm to his mana base, whereas our mana is not reliant on the colorless mana of the Wasteland, so that's probably always better in the void. So there is fetch land and nothing. Jite again. We don't need Jite. We just play that Copter and probably in the void play Master of Ethereum next turn. Crew Copter attack. Yeah, I think that in the void this is a fine play. The other reasonable option would be Rise and Shine. Tanglewire is in this current situation, of course, not an option. I mean, still tapping all this mana away, but it would probably slow me down more than him. Now that I have some board presence, I might consider doing this for next turn. No, this is no artifact. Let's get rid of that. Wasteland and Copter are quite nice cards in this game because I think apart from Jite, I only drew lands. So this does help to regulate the lands to spell ratio a bit. Flame Slash! That's very, very pointy removal. So what is this? Mardu? 4 color? Could still be both. Let's assume that it's Mardu and not 4 color. So we could now do the Rise and Shine. We could also do Tangle Wire. Oh, last time Tangle Wire was bugged. In the sense that it wasn't losing counters. That what I hope that they have fixed this, because it used to work on Vintage Cube. So if I did Tangle Wire, then I would need to tap Tangle Wire. Assuming it is not bugged again, I would need to tap Tangle Wire and 2 lands. Can play another land, and then I have no untapped Rise and Shine creature, so it's probably not good. So I think I will actually play Rise and Shine this turn on Goldmire Bridge. The problem is that this does not help against Swords to Plowshare style removal, which means that I'll probably send in the Copter again to do some more draw filtering, which appears to be very, very necessary. This one can go, I think. And then I can play a tapped land. Yeah, that was really important, getting rid of another land. Where are all my small creatures? I had games today where the entire board filled with 1/1 creatures, and now that I need to Copter Pilot, none of them are here. Oh yeah, that's 1/1 creatures. No flashbacking lingering assaults. Okay. So if he doesn't have an exile removal, then just equipping Jete on the Goldmire Bridge is probably game. And also, Tangle Wire is now not good anymore as he has tokens to tap. Let's see if Jete just runs away with the game. Nice play. So he prevented the Jete from getting counters. But he also lost a removal that would have handled the Smuggler's Copter. Still no creatures. Where are my pilots? So this trick won't work again. Now we also trample. So this is the most threatening Goldmire Bridge I have seen in all my life. Color Guns Command, I guess. Yes. Still quite a threatening Goldmire Bridge. I could have also discarded the Tangle Wire, but I'm too curious to see if the bug is still there or not. What did he discard? Firebolt and Bloodstained Wire, okay. What is he doing? Huh. Really? I think I run more creatures than lands in this deck. This is an impressive draw. Still, then the Goldmire Bridge has to do all the work. It's fine. I could have considered... Wait a second, what? That's not the Lingering Souls token. So I could have considered sending in the Copter for looting, but I'll... I wanted to press the damage and also Tangle Wire now, which should drastically limit his options. So this would be dead on board. No, I don't find out what Tangle Wire is doing. Okay, 1 second, I'll be right back. So, we are playing against Mardu, apparently. Which is generally a big removal package. Oh, this hand is so interesting, I want to keep this. Oh, this is actually very good. But it is not lightning bolt proof. Michiko's is interesting, but probably better on later on. So let's see if we find some value of the synthesizer, which we do not do? So it's just, but at least we're one step closer towards the next land, which might be important. And oh, that's also a good card. Still, I might want to actually keep digging for lands. That's a land. Also an untapped white land, which is quite nice. Yeah, this is the classical removal heavy Mardu that we're playing against. More removal than lands actually at the moment. But that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So we could consider to play Palace Jailer just to become the monarch. We can only play one spell this turn. I think that this monarch line is the right one, because when he has mana-based disruption, oh no, fuck, that would be utterly terrible. Okay, I didn't see this one coming. In my Mardu list, I think I never played Mana Tithe. But of course, a viable card. Yeah, okay. Then in hindsight, this was a terrible decision, but I couldn't know this. I didn't know that he ran this. But in the void, I think this was correct, because if he disrupts my mana base, I cannot cast that anymore. If he has no board presence, then Monarch is really good. Unfortunately, this did not work out. Also, his searching for mana did not work out, which is probably good for me. Meanwhile, I kill myself with Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tombs don't kill people. I kill people with Ancient Tombs, including myself. So one of these is supposed to survive, otherwise I don't have a game here. This can only exile a creature, so this does not matter. Not overly happy. So at least this is one hefty swing. Okay, that was just a win on the back of Mana Screw. Okay, so I think I'm done testing the artifact aggro deck. I will now resort to the Sultai chain list, which is the list inspired by Thrias from Vienna, which is a Sultai list that doesn't run counter spells. but instead heavily proactively focuses on the Chain of Smog combo. The description is in the Stream Decker, or if you see this on YouTube, it's in the video description. I think I have tested this list so far only against Temur Tempo, and Temur is a horrible matchup for Sultai, so far I can only say against Temur it's not a good list, but I'm curious to see what it does against other lists. So I don't know what Benny will be playing now. Hopefully it's not Temur. So we already have Chain of Smoke. And it's pretty average, to be honest. Retrofitter is to be found from Urza's Saga. It's not very great on the opening hand. But still, I think this is good enough. To try this, do I play... I have to think myself. Do I play Dryad Arbor in this list? I think I do. But I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't appear in the list I see in the overlay, so maybe do not run this. I could have simply looked while fetching. I'm stupid. That's hay fever. Annoying as fuck. Ooh, what's happening here? Hardened Scales, Geas Krell. This escalated quickly. Toxic Deluge in hand looks very useful now. Still, I'm not doing that now, of course, because I'm lacking mana. We'll just flash Icefang Kotal end of his turn. Maybe, if necessary, clear the board with Toxic Deluge. Else we might Green Suns for the combo piece of the chain combo, which is Witherbloom Apprentice. I think we're probably not playing the Kotal now because the Mana Gorger Hydra will get utterly out of hand. Let's see if we can find just a Snowland instead. So if I play this, this will immediately get a counter, which will be doubled. So I need to pay 3 at least. If he has a free spell, let's play this safe. I'd rather lose 2 more life than risking to have some random gut shot, mutagenic growth or something in response that saves the Hydra. I could not possibly afford that. Well, that's also a great card. Giving 2 counters each turn. Oh, that's great. So I could get rid of the scales at least. Return 1 land. I think this is a good play because it enables me to have the combo next turn. So this mode, this player, this permanent, this mana. Returning Misty Rainforest. Playing Misty Rainforest. Having the obvious Retrofitter Foundry open, but being able to ambush with Icefang Kotal, which has Death Touch if we find a basic Snow Forest. I think that's a good line. Also, this reduces his amount of mana from Gaea's Cradle for post-combat, which is probably something that he's not happy about. So he has only Abzan and White open now, which should be good news for us trying to combo next turn. Just don't want him to play a Black Hand Disruption spell now, but so far I'm not sure whether he actually runs black. The only black thing I've seen so far is this Triome, so he doesn't do anything. Is this good or bad for me? We'll see. In any case, I've got to do this. Maybe fetch this. And cast this. Is this good actually? If he has removal in response, this just kills me, right? But I don't play a combo deck for then not comboing. He doesn't have a removal. Great. But it could interesting. So don't be bothered by my sideboard. This is the maybe board. I'm of course not sideboarding any cards because this is Highlander people. Was so in the combo mode that I hadn't considered that in this situation where he was stuck on 2 mana due to Gear's Cradle crippling, it might have been the right play to just slam Tarmogoyf, or even better, a Questing Beast, to just apply some pressure and have the option to tutor for the combo as a backdoor option, because he will tap out at some point in the future probably. This is a very similar hand again, Ice Fang Kotal and Greenstone's Zenith. But this time we have the other combo piece, and this time we have Eartha's Saga instead of Retrofitter Foundry. So one word about Retrofitter Foundry, because there are people who are very skeptical about that card. In the scenario that we saw last game, this card was really terrible because it didn't do anything. It could have provided a jump blocker at one point, but that's basically it. But I like it a lot to have it as a tutor option in the deck for Urza's Saga. But it's not a good card for the opening hand. But still very nice thing to have in your toolbox, I think. Sage. At least this has become one cheaper now. Can I move this? I can. Fascinating. As we learned, I don't have Dried Arbor in my deck, so just going to fetch a tapped Snowland here. Should be green-blue. Probably. And then see what happens. What's happening? I don't know. Maybe he also doesn't know. It seems to be a very complicated operation coming up. So either his internet is frozen or he is considering whether to play around Days or Forceback or something. Okay, so in the void I will probably play Collective Brutality next turn. Tapped Snow Duel. I'll need black mana with a tropical in hand now. I can take Swamp, I think. Question is now which mode? Just killing that, or have I... Do I have something that I can easily discard for having a look at his hand? I mean, these green-white decks, of course, might not have... I don't really know what I want to discard. Maybe the Kotal, actually. Yeah, I think I'll just discard the Kotal to have information. There is nothing there, but there is interesting stuff there, so... Is this... This is not revealed, so this is not sent anywhere, right? So I'll just type this here. Avatar of Resolute, Hex Drinker, Canopy, also live on T-Track. Okay, they did enter the revealed card, so fine. Okay, just wasn't sure how this card works on Magic Online, but we have this in the normal revealed cards view, so everything is fine. So there's one less Ozolith, one less Canopy, and one less Hex Drinker. So of course Captain Hindsight now criticizes my decision to discard the Kotal. I could play Rexage against the Ozolith, but this might not be too important. It's complicated. So there will be quite a bunch of creatures coming in. Let's proceed like this. We play Urza's Saga, we play Rexage for mana efficiency in order to have the Ozolith not do random bullshit that gets out of hand. Also, we have a blocker now for Hex Drinker, which should force him to level it, which is of course not too great for us when there is a 4/4 protection from instants, but on the same line it's also at the moment not the end of the world. So now we can produce robots, and we could create a robot and do Brainstorm, for example. Question is if that is good enough. Another assumption that I run Grist, because I run Grist in all my decks that have green suns in it. I could tutor up Grist and trade Rexage for Hex Drinker, but the problem is... No, that's not a good line, because I can also do this when he already has protection from instants, and also he would simply be bashed by Tireless Tracker. I think I'd rather go for blockers of Urza's Saga and stalling a bit until I have more ideas how to proceed here. Oh, by the way, these boys are on the battlefield. So from level 3 onwards, this is 4/4, so this would happen now. This means I will now, in response, do Brainstorm to see if there is something that I can do. Oh, this is interesting, actually. Is this the thing that I want to tutor up? Or do I want to... Does Shadow Spear help against Hex Drinker? I don't think so, right? It just gets rid of Indestructible and Hexproof, I think. Where are my artifacts? Cannot see them. Stupid overlay. So let's assume that Shadow Spear doesn't do anything, then this is a quite likely tutor target, so putting that on top. And this will happen in the draw step, so the other card I will draw anyway. Then I'm afraid this will have to resolve. So, there will be a monstrous army en route to my face. I'll just take that. If I'm going for that grist line, I'd like some potential jump blockers. But this also means, I mean, of course, I have to just create another token here to improve the board a bit. So what do we have here? Foundry, Shadow Spear, Diamond. The problem is 3 more levels and Hex Drinker has protection from everything, which means jump blocking is not going to happen, so some life swings might be in order, actually. I have 3 cards in hand, one of which is the Avatar of the Resolute, which is fine, I guess. I probably have to start now to backswing and gain some life, because once the Hex Drinker is protected of everything, I won't be able, so he will be able to deny my life swing by simply blocking, which is evidently not too good for me. So, but this is a very interesting game. So it's probably because this is the first game of today where we both play some grindy value-y decks, so the games actually take a while, which wasn't the case in the first games. So I'm a bit worried. Green Suns? Ugh. That's a beast. No, it's not. It's a Hydra. I was wrong. Only swinging with that guy. Okay. I'll take that. So there might be gristing time now. But the problem is, the setup is again not too satisfying for Grist, because when I get him, sacrifice Rag Sage, destroy one of his creatures, I still cannot attack. That's not too good. I could Snapcaster into Brainstorm or Brutality, which I think doesn't do much. I mean, I could attack with the Construct token first, and then throw a Collective Brutality at the blocker. But still, I'm not very convinced of that line. So how much damage am I facing here? That will be a lot. So when Hexdrinker becomes ultimate, that's 6/6. Tireless Tracker can also become 6 power. Hydra is 4 power, so that's 16 damage. I'll have to do something about this. At least blocking, or draining some life, or something else. Question is, what is that else? And the other problem with the Grist line is that I can throw a token, but it doesn't jump very well against a potentially protection from everything and a trample creature. Ooh, this is complicated. If I go with a Bloom Apprentice, and then Duress, I'm on 15. Still not very helpful. This is a really complicated line. I think I'll have to do something with the... I could also simply grab Tarmogoyf, which is a huge blocker. Probably cannot go for Questing Beast. Yeah, let's just go for Tarmogoyf. What else do we have on that? We have the Quandrix Apprentice, which doesn't do anything. Yeah, we need the big boy. And we need to take a look here. There is Caracas. And we knew that there will be the Avatar. So, blocking, lifelinking, maybe re-equipping Shadow Spear on Tarmogoyf does give us a certain threat of a backswing. Yeah, but this is getting critical. His board presence is very impressive now. He has 3 clue tokens to refill the hand. Does it do anything beside that? No. It's only a 2-mana creature. Come on. When enters the battlefield, proliferate. Holy moly. he really did find all the things that do something with counters. No attacks. Maybe that Tarmogoyf line wasn't too bad after all. Uro. Hello, big boy. It's still quite an impressive army over there. Which mana do I have to keep open? Probably blue for a cantrip. Yes, we can do this. We can also fetch for blue, blue, green, green. Probably, yeah, island. Island for Uro next turn, but not good for Witherbloom Apprentice this turn. But I didn't have any untapped duel I could fetch at this moment at my disposal. Yeah, so as I said, I'm testing this list by Trias from Vienna, who has this heavy snow aspect in the deck, which does imply that there are the snow duels, the tapped ones, alongside the original duels, but no Watery Grave, no shock duels to fetch, because there are limits to every mana base. And at this very moment, this prevented me of playing the Witherbloom Apprentice, but that doesn't matter too much, I think, because it would probably only have been a jump blocker, and Snapcaster Mage can do that job as well. So he has played everything from his hand now, but has a million clue tokens still, so I still think that if something is to happen here... Oh, X-Trigger needs 8. I thought it was 4 and 7 or something, but it's actually 3 levels for the first one and 8 levels for the second ability. And he is still not attacking, I don't know if that is right. And yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So, if I was to cast Uro, how many... So I would need to ensure that Tarmogoyf will still be a big boy. But I think this is possible. So opponent has artifact and creature, so I can exile my creatures and lands. That should work if I leave Urza's Saga in my graveyard. So let's try. Green, green, blue, blue. Exile Scalding Tarn, Flooded Strand, Bloodstained Mire, Icefang Kotal. We can also exile Duress. That should keep Tarmogoyf at the stable size. Right. That boy is legendary. Of course I knew that, and I of course remembered that he had Caracas. In hindsight, this was then not the wisest decision to go for Uro. Might cost me the game too. Let's just assume that at some point he realizes that he can enter the red zone and just win. So I'll go for the next. Let's do a little shame concede here. I haven't shame conceded today, so one Shaman concede per day is fine. Okay, this is a kind of a tough match, but also an interesting one. This is a nice starting end. What will I do first? I think, yeah, of course. The question is, what will I do second? First, I will, of course, get Gitaxian Probe to see what's going on. And then probably Underground Sea into Mental Note. Or Delta into Dig Up. This is something that we need to determine by looking at his hand. Traverse the Elven Valley. Also, so what does he have? Land, Mana Dork, Beatstick, Torrens, Savior of Olin Bok, and Ajani Greathearted. Interesting cards, interesting cards. So, what do we need? We don't need Brainstorm now, but I think under these circumstances it's important that we fluidly play our lands, so we're going for Tropical Island, Traverse, Forest, or Island. Let's go for Forest first. So that's the Blooming Marsh gun and the Ignoble Hierarch gun. One option would be to brainstorm now to see if we have a cheap removal spell for the Ignoble, and if we don't, cast one of the cantrips. I think that's a good line, actually. There is Dead of Winter, that could actually help, but it's not Toxic Deluge. Grist is also fine. There's a lot of land. So I think I would return the Underground Sea as a fetch target. I could also mill myself, right? So I could put two cards that I don't want back and mental note them into the graveyard. Is that better? No, I don't think so. Probably the line is just putting these away and getting us a snow swamp with this. And then I can do Grist next turn, stall around a bit on the board, and go for questing Beast Dead of Winter the subsequent turns. I think that should be okayish. So that's Peatland and Pelt Collector. Oh, he doesn't have white mana. I hadn't realized. This, my reflex is whenever somebody has a Hierarch, okay, all 3 mana set, no problem. But actually, in this situation, this is not the case. This poses the question if I simply have to raise the board now. And I don't need for him to find white mana, right? This totally changes everything. Then go questing Beast or Grist next turn. Fun fact, I have Grist Unearth mini combo. So if he gets rid of Grist, I can reanimate him, which is kind of cute. Walking Ballista. Do I care? I don't think so. Okay, first let's do some action. Play the big machine. Then go and next turn several options. Let's start pondering. Do you want to shuffle? Yes. Niles Spellbomb. Okay. I'll send in the beast. And then play Grist, who does middle. Maybe this is a target. This is actually a target for Unearth, but none that I want to do. None that I want to unearth right now. Yo, another 2-1 as every match today. Okay, so as my hay fever is starting to kill me, I will stop this stream now. And I thank you very much for watching. I will make these games available as a video on demand here and on YouTube, so also do keep an eye on my opponent's YouTube channel, which is called EU Highlander Jams. I'm not quite sure, but you'll probably find that by doing some googling. Okay, I'll maybe play some matches off camera now, but I don't want to continue blowing my nose every 2 minutes. So see you again when I'm a little bit less hay fevery and playing again some Highlander and draft stuff.